Yo, what's up, y'all? We back out here. It's the Buff Missionary in these streets. And, I hope you've been liking the videos, provoking thought, and the things we're out here trying to do. And I just wanted to talk today about this video that I saw recently. I was watching Club Shay Shay. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. And this particular interview, he had Terry Crews on. And Terry Crews, he's legit. I've always thought he's a hilarious guy, always found him entertaining. And to hear his story, where he's come from, the struggles that he's faced, I never would have expected that. Never would have expected that. But it puts a lot of things in perspective, and he put a lot of things in perspective in this video where he's talking about his struggle. Kind of in short, he talked about how, coming from a rough background and making it to the NFL, issues with parents and things kind of going against him, and him really being on his own and trying to get things done for himself, but ultimately succeeding and having issues with the people, the naysayers, even in his family, who had tried to tell him for his whole life that he couldn't do it. But then going from that to kind of not lasting in the league after, I think, 5-6 years. And after going from the money, the fame, and all that stuff to having to be a janitor and sweep buildings and work security. Very humbling, very humbling. And he talked a lot about how that's kind of a mentality that people struggle with, right? Because you have everything in those moments, and then you go to a place where you have nothing. It can be that kind of a drop off can be very hard to deal with. And we've seen things like that happen in the sports world. Terry Crews talked about a few of those names as well. But something that he said in this interview stuck out to me more than anything else. And it was about the mentality that he ultimately gained while sweeping floors. And it was to the effect of, I'm going to sweep this floor as if I'm going to make $1 million for doing it. I'm going to do every little thing that I can, every opportunity that comes my way. I'm going to treat it as if I'm getting paid $1 million to do it. And I was like, dang, man. It's one thing to come from nothing and think that and to say that. It's another thing to have been there where you had all the wealth and all the resource, and you lose it all goes away, and you do that. It's different, and I feel like it would be harder in his position because he had experienced a good life, so to speak, right? Man, to go from playing in the NFL, think about that for a second, to go from playing in the NFL, the National Football League, to sweeping floors. That's hard for me to wrap my mind around, but it was in that moment where he adopted the mentality that would make him who he is today. I hear that and immediately I think, well, shoot, what about me? How many things am I doing in life that I'm not overly excited to do? How many things am I doing in life where it's like, I'd rather not put forth the greatest of effort. Let me just kind of cruise and just make my way through. Let me just make it to the other side. All right. I'm not trying to expend that much effort. How many things do we have in our lives that we approach that way? But here's the crazy thing. Because he adopted the mentality of, let me work this menial task as if I'm going to make $1 million doing it. What people saw from him in that position, what people saw from him as a security guard, opened up the doors for him to do new things. A lot of people will recognize Terry Crews from standing right across Denzel Washington in the movie Training Day. What they don't know, as Terry Crews shared in the interview with Shannon Sharp, is that he didn't get paid to do that. In fact, the only reason he was in the scene was because he'd been working so many security jobs that someone who was in charge of the lot where Training Day was going to be filming that King Kong ain't got nothing on me scene one night. They called Terry Crews over to come and watch. And Antoine Fuqua, the director of that movie, legendary, he happens to see Terry Crews on the side and is like, hey man, you trying to be in this or what? And he gets an opportunity. Like that's amazing. Because he was doing his job so well, he builds these connections with security guards and these lots, and it results in him being able to not only see Denzel in his craft, in his element, but to like literally see him up close and personal and be in the movie. That's crazy. That's crazy. What are the things that we're doing right now in our lives? And we all have them. Let me know if you're willing to share them. Let me know what those things are down below in the comments. But what do we have? What are we up to in our lives that we're just trying to get through? We're just trying to get past. We're just trying to get to the end of the day with. We're not trying to give our best. We're just trying to cruise to the finish line. What are those things that we could be doing better? What are those things that we could be working and doing and engaging in as if we could earn $1 million doing it? Man, you literally don't know what opportunities could come up from you doing that. But people are watching. So you have to make the most of those. I got to make the most of those. You know, when I think of the plans that I have for mission and traveling the world, it can be hard some days to go to work. To be honest. When I think of being on the gymnastics team as a coach, sometimes it's hard to go to the gym and be consistent. Being honest. Sometimes when it comes to thinking about Bible study and what I would like to accomplish there, sometimes I'm not feeling it. Just being honest. But what if I did every little thing as if I was gonna make $1 million for doing it? It would change my effort and it would change the outcome. And something that's really cool, I believe I've experienced this over the last couple days, especially with work. It's been easier to kind of lose focus and just have my mind thinking on my papers and all this other stuff. But the last couple days I was really able to lock in. And I think it was benefited more. I had more of a desire to do that because I missed a couple days last week. And I felt different being here in the office and working the job. And I felt better being here in the office and working the job as a direct result of that. So, I don't know. I got my own reflection. I'm sure you do too. But it's definitely worth thinking about. It's definitely something that should provoke our thought. Because I'm sure if many of us were just being honest, we might find that the majority of the things that we do fall into that category. And by extension, we might also find that we're leaving so much on the table. We might only have ourselves to blame for not achieving the things that we want in life. And that's a hard realization, but it might be true. So do what you gotta do so it won't be true for you. I'll leave it there. It's a Buff Missionary in these streets. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.